Welcome to the T-Row Show. Transmitting truth one week at a time.
Welcome to the T-Row Show. This is Keith. You have Tony and Stu. Say hello, guys.
Good afternoon, folks.
Hello, everyone.
And I believe this will be the 26th episode of the T-Row Show. We have a lot to talk about today. We always do. So get your thinking caps on. So here we go. When the original Confederacy of 1781, not the Civil War, not that one, the original 1781 was claimed, we did what they call a Declaration of Independence. We were just moved to do this because we had just gotten involved with the and learning about the Serapis Christus. A lot of people don't know what that is. So I'm going to share some screens here. We're going to be looking at some documents, things to look at, to give you a better picture of what's going on in the world and why things are done the way they are here. So they're sharing screens. Okay, the Declaration of Independence, 1776, non-protunct, as amended, 12/3/2012. Since we had already gone back to the Declaration of Independence, we had to amend it because it did not specify particularly the organization that was doing a lot of the oppression over in Europe, and which caused a lot of the oppression over here. We knew the company store, and remind me, guys, talking about the company corporation, okay? If you could bring that back up, company corporation, that's going to be a mind boggler there. Okay, we said, we the people for the United States of America, 1781, a confederacy form of government. This was back when it had not been transferred into a republic form of government yet. Brought forward to the present time, hereby declare independence from the Council of Nicaea. Held in 325 AD, all its creeds, decisions, decrees, bills, debt creation, control, and deception through Serapis Christus, and all of its agency and intermediary services between the people and the Most High, one true source, their maker. In other words, if they were assuming to be an agent for you to go advocate to the Most High on your behalf, that first paragraph says it all right there. No, thank you. We'll take our chances. We'll go there ourselves.
Yeah, I don't need you to talk to my maker for me.
I would rather talk to him directly than have an agent go, and I have no idea what the agent's saying, and it's none of his business anyways. So we, the people for the United States of America, hereby declare independence from any and all councils convened from generation to generation, created by the Roman Catholic government. Name a given Holy See and its laws. We, the people, declare independence. We, the people for the United States of America, hereby declare independence from any and all trusts, organizations, corporations, or any other body politic, directly or indirectly created by the Roman Catholic government, and any other government created by the Roman Catholic government, including but not limited to the New World Order, and all nations within the United Nations and its resolutions or non-member nations. We, the people for the United States of America, hereby declare independence from any presumed or assumed power of attorney, political representation, authority over, or any express or implied conversion authority over intent, or any claim against mind, body, and soul of we, the people for the United States of America. We, the people, embrace the confederacy form of government of the United States of America, once abandoned and claimed without any encumbrances, debt, or servitude agreements attached thereto. We, the people for the United States of America, accept and acknowledge the sovereign of the reign of the heavens as a perfect example of government, assembled in his name of, by, and for the people, its territorial integrity, precedence, and its formation and interpretation of its laws. We, the people for the United States of America, accept and acknowledge that our covenant of the Gentiles originates from the reign of the heavens outside of any other governments, in and of the world. We the people shall stand as witness to the murder of the reign of the heavens head of state by Augustus Caesar, first emperor of Rome. We the people of the United States of America treat all subjects, citizens, nationals, residents, and any other form of status within and under the Roman Catholic government or any other government with dignity, respect, equal rights, privileges, and immunities as any of the people for the United States of America or the reign of the heavens. We the people for the United States of America embrace the liability and responsibility of survey of its metes and bounds, its rural-free delivery routes and general post office, the identity of its people, its economy, its crime, its independent part of the original Union, and all other sufferance that accompanies independence with separate and equal station. We the people for the United States of America forgive any trespass or deception that was caused by the Council of Nicaea, held and started in 325 AD, brought forward to the present time and into the future. We the people for the United States of America declare that we are at peace with the Roman Catholic government and any other government created by the Roman Catholic government, and with no curses or famine upon said government. The growth of the numbers of the people of the United States of America is not interpreted as passive aggression by the people for the United States of America against the Roman Catholic government, headquartered in Vatican City, its crown, or its U.S. We the people for the United States of America declare that reciprocity shall be sought out with any and all states of the Union, and shall share territory and peace through trade, reciprocity, honor, and respect. We the people for the United States of America declare independence in the name of Yahweh, assembled in the name of the sovereign of the reign of the heavens on the 3rd day of December 2012. There were some signatures here. This particular document went to the Vatican. It was literally sent there. And it was also sent to the U.S. through the Pentagon. So that should say who we are. Now, why did we do this? That's the whole thing. Let's show where communism got into this country, how it came in. On special edition number 2, we talked about the Lateran Agreement in regard to the sovereignty appertaining to and also in international matters. The Holy See declares that it desires to take and shall take no part in temporal rivalries between other states, nor in any international congresses called to settle such matters, save and except in the event of such parties making a mutual appeal to the Pacific mission of the Holy See, the latter reserving in any event the right of exercising its moral and spiritual power. The Vatican City shall therefore be invariably in every event considered as neutral and inviolable territory. Okay, so what was the Pacific mission? That's the whole thing. Where did that come from? So a lot of people would believe that they'll start looking up Pacific and they'll believe it was or won't go any further, that it was a Pacific Union because of the word Pacific, and they'll go in and they'll talk about the Pacific Islands Forum, and then you'll end up going all the way around in a circle and have no idea where you're going, what you're doing, and you'll spend 6 months doing that until you realize that's not what it meant. What it actually means is the General Act for Pacific Settlement of International Disputes. It was a League of Nations treaty series on the same day, and the treaty was ultimately ratified by 22 states. It was subsequently denounced by Spain. Spain didn't want anything to do with it because they probably knew what was getting ready to come along. There's always been issues between Spain and Italy. Spanish are pretty smart when it comes to that. And they know or can see something coming, if you follow what I'm saying. They were pretty smart about it because this particular agreement, It was made through Belgium, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. The General Acts, Pacific Settlement of International Disputes, Geneva, September 26, 1928, where the Lateran Agreement was made in 1929. Y'all see the connection? So
very convenient.
Very convenient that in 1928, a Pacific Settlement of International Disputes in Geneva was signed. And then in 1929, the Lateran Agreement was done, and it was assigned to Vatican City as the peaceful people of the world. You know, Catholicism, the religion of peace, right? This is what created the World Court. This particular agreement. Because they established the International Court of Peaceful Settlements in this particular agreement. And they had the Secretary General of the League of Nations. By the way, folks, if you don't know what that is, the League of Nations started from World War I and evolved into the United Nations today, which is in where? Manhattan Island. Now you understand how Manhattan Island is connected there too, because Denmark is involved with this particular agreement. This was the beginnings of their putting together the New World Order, because in 1933, 1933, May 5th, the president, it's not Theodore Roosevelt, it was Franklin D. Roosevelt, who did the pledge and pledged everybody to the New World Order. So that meaning that the United States was not a leader in that particular agreement. They were following a 1928-29 agreement. Now, how did that happen? So the communists wanted to get into this country and start tearing it to pieces and put their own bogus junk in here. So over here, you have what they call Pacific Settlement of Disputes. Gee, wonder where that came from. This is the Organization of American States, of which all of the states within the American continent, that would be North, Central, and South, are a part of the Organization of American States, which is headquartered in Washington, D.C., which would be right here. Okay, OAS headquarters in Washington, D.C. Notice they took off the United States of America address and put USA in there. So that lets you know how much influence we actually do have. They had to change the address on the main building. The members are, you have member states. Here's United States of America. Notice the has been removed. Would be Donald J. Trump, Mike Pence. Every time there was a regime change, okay, they all become members of the OAS. The OAS is specifically, it's a United Nations agency, or an arm of the United Nations. And I'm not saying this to demonize them in any way. So most of them are pretty good people. They just don't realize what they're doing. It's basically nothing more than a communist organization. And what the Pacific Settlement of Disputes are, and this is on the OAS website, is international disputes between member states shall be submitted to a peaceful procedure set forth in this charter. Charter meaning corporation. This provision shall be interpreted as an impairment of rights, shall not be interpreted as an impairment of the rights of the obligations of the member states under Articles 34 and 35 of the Charter of the United Nations, right here. And following our peaceful procedures, direct negotiation, good offices, mediation, investigation, and conciliation, judicial settlement, arbitration, and those which parties to the dispute may especially agree upon any time. In the event that the dispute arises between two or more American states, which, in the opinion of one of them, cannot be settled through the usual diplomatic channels, the parties shall agree to some other peaceful procedure that will enable them to reach a solution. That sounds like an appeal, doesn't it? Wouldn't you say?
Yep.
To the Pacific settlement. A special treaty will establish adequate means for the settlement of disputes and will determine pertinent procedures for each peaceful means, such that no dispute between American states may remain without definitive settlement within a reasonable period of time. Now, folks, that should get you to realize what's going on when Cuba and the U.S., District of Columbia, why the Pope came over to settle that dispute. In other words, why would he come over? No one would ever see or notice why this guy over in Europe would come over here, and all of a sudden Cuba and America or U.S. are friends again. Where did all that come from? And it started back in 1928. So everyone knows that the Roman Catholic government is a communist government. That's how they got in. They're contracted with them, which was the reason why there's a Declaration of Independence there. You contract with them, you got a problem. I'm going to tell you why. Because those organizations that have these contracts are under different constitutions. Because they never leave or remove their they never defect. Let's put it that way. They never defect from their original agreements. So you have the Constitution of the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. This is the Constitution that all Jesuits are under. Right here. Now, go look at the most of your governors within the states. Most of the governors are Jesuits. They've all accepted knighthoods. So he came in under the guise of peace and neutrality and violated that neutrality. So he lets Islam come into Europe and then tries to play off as if he's the peacemaker. That's the deception of Serapis Christus. Serapis Christus used to kill you if you didn't recognize him as a god. That's the doctrine, that's the creed of Serapis Christus. If you look at the history of him, it's a man with a cup on his head. It's a goofy looking cup he's got on his head. They call it the cup of Christ and all that. It's just a statue right now. Statue. The statue is actually sitting in London, England, and that's Serapis Christus. And his deal was, if you don't believe I'm a god, that would be Serapis Christus saying this, I'm going to kill you, and then he did. So they took that doctrine of if you don't do something, I'm going to kill you, and brought it in to Council of Nicaea, and then there was the creation of Islam from the Catholic Church, and the same type of creed. They just seem real passive because they sing a lot. Oh, when they sing a lot, they seem real passive. And then they have little boys singing. Oh, it just sounds so beautiful. It's a beautiful sound and everything else. Just, fly away, little bird, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
it's all show.
Yeah, it's all show, but they're to the core extremely aggressive. Extremely aggressive organization. Seriously aggressive organization. They're what they call passive aggressive. While they're talking to your face, they're kicking you in the gut. When they hug you, they have a knife in their hand, right at your back. That's
and anybody that claims they hold the keys to heaven, that's quite a claim.
Yeah. If y'all want to get a picture of Serapis Christus, let me know if you can grab that picture, and we'll pop it up here so people can see it, that we're not making this up. This is literal. We knew this back then, and that's why we did what we did. And that's why they have a war of attrition against our money. They let everything else go except for the money. They have to have control of the money in order to control you. Because now, how do the Dutch fall into this? The Dutch, what they do is they come in as a company, and what they'll do is this: they'll find a bunch of gold. They're just miners, is all they are. They're miners. It's all under miner law, okay? And mining, meaning they can mine minerals out of the ground. That's all the Dutch do. They originally started out as pig farmers. That's what the Manhattan Wall was, or Wall Street. The wall was there to shield the city from the pig smell. That's where stocks came from and all that. They used to sell stocks and pigs, and that's why you have the pig as a symbol every time you see bankers. So the people would buy stocks within the pig. They wouldn't sell the whole pig. They'd sell parts of the pig. And that's how Wall Street started. They were pig farmers. They branched off into miners. And what they do is they'll find coal, okay? And people coming up looking for jobs don't have any money, so they'll give them some money and say, "Here, we're gonna front you." And you can go to the company store. You heard that song, "I sold my soul to the company store." You know that song there. They would give you credit at the store, and then they would make sure that you weren't paid enough to pay off the credit, so you're stuck there until the coal's gone. Then they say, "Okay, you're good to go. See ya." And you leave in debt. You can never really make any money. They call them sweatshops. They call them slave encampments. They call, it's basic slavery is all it is. That's how the Dutch operate. That's where your debt's coming from. Okay, they gave a credit, and they made it to where you can never pay it back. So everybody, oh, we're going to pay off this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to solve the debt problem and all this stuff. It's all fake. Every bit of it's fake, because it was set up to where you couldn't redeem yourself. But this dispute's been going on for a long time, but you don't see the neutrality country coming in and solving that, do you?
Nope.
Best thing to do is put his governors in. So what's going on in Europe is this: the governments are trying to say, "Oh, there's nothing going on here. Nothing going on." It's like a Naked Gun movie. There's nothing going on here. Big fire in the background. Nothing to see, folks. Just go on home. Everything's fine. What they're trying to do is they're trying to enforce this neutrality agreement. The governments are trying to stay neutral, which is exactly opposite of what they're supposed to be doing. It's a twisted mess. So the people are all fighting, and they go, "Oh, well, that doesn't qualify as under the neutrality agreement. So we'll just try to keep the peace." That's all we're doing. It's a big twisted mess. So now let's move over. We'll change subjects here a little bit. And when you get that Serapis Christus video thing, let me know. Just an image of it. Now, I know this will feed the Patriot Guru thing, because a creditor's claims against deceased debtors, a blah, blah, blah. Well, the all-cap name of the person is deceased. No, none of that's true. Nothing going on there. Nobody's doing any foreclosure. Nobody's doing anything. You're stuck in an encampment, folks. You're stuck at the company store. They set it up to where you can't pay the debt off. You'll get it. That's all that's going on. And it was set up by the Equestrian Knights and this Constitution that was helped by them. Constitution of the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. This okay for them, for them to put you in the company store and keep you in debt forever.
Yeah, interesting. I'm doing some reflecting here as you talk, and I remember as a teen that I wasn't allowed to get my first credit card, apply for my first credit card until 17 or 18. And I had to go through a full-blown application process, et cetera. And nowadays I look and I see, my kids and that generation just getting pre-approved in the mail. I mean, they're giving credit away to rope everybody in.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this thing. what I was looking for, Tony, is the picture of the head.
Yeah, it's in there.
It is?
Would you like me to share the screen? Yeah,
Please.
I can share the screen if you like.
Yeah, please. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah. Looks familiar, doesn't it, guys?
Yes.
Okay, it's the same one. Look at the cup on his head. It's a picture with a cup on his head. This guy right here, this Serapis Christus, was a real guy, but he wasn't the one that you're talking about. So people are a little confused about the history, because Yahushua of the reign of the heavens was not Serapis Christus. This guy here, this is a fake. They assimilated Yahushua's story in the reign of the heavens with this guy here, Serapis Christus, who was a tyrannical son of a bitch, man. This guy was bad. And the whole cup of Christ thing, he has a cup on his head. And this is the doctrine that they apply. So they twisted the whole story to hide the reign of the heavens, the original country, and Yahushua. They mixed it up. And that's why they have this doctrine that says, if you don't go along with this, we're going to kill you. That's how they operate. And there's no other way really to say it other than that. Do you have a full picture with that cup?
Yeah, it's a little, okay, here's another one. It's a little hard to see. Let me bring it up.
You have, okay, it says Constantine the Greek, it says Roman Emperor of 306 to 337, is known for being the first Roman emperor to be converted to Christianity, which, strangely enough, Arius of Libya, born of African descent, centuries of Ptolemy, had a problem with the Roman Empire teaching the Africans and the people of Rome to worship a statue and celebrate death. Okay, so that's why we have the reign of the heavens in Yahushua. It's not a cult. You're the cult. if you're worshiping Serapis Christus. You're the one that's worshiping a head. Do you have it yet?
Yes, can you see it?
Not yet. Okay, there it is. There it is right there. Egyptian 350 BCE. And that's what they call the cup of Christ. Right there is a cup on his head. Looks goofy, doesn't it? I don't know why the hell they did that. And there's his, he was a Greco-Roman. A tyrannical dude, man. That guy killed a lot of people. He wanted to be known as a god. So that's what he did. And that's what happened when Francis came over here, and then he professed himself as the father of all families. He was trying to make himself a god. He still thinks, and they still believe, that they're the beneficiaries, and you're the trustees, and that they're the beneficiaries for them, that they tell you what to do under a trust agreement, which is total crap. He's a foreign nation. Stay over there. Leave us the hell alone. But he doesn't want to do that because there's a little sickness going on. So here it is. Okay. You have, let me get this screen. Okay. Here's the deal here. Actions enjoin specific conduct relating to tax shelters and reportable transactions. Citizens residents outside of the United States. If any citizen or resident of the United States does not reside in and does not have the principal place of business in the United States Judicial District, such citizen or resident shall be treated for the purpose of this section as residing in the District of Columbia. It's right in their codes. And this is for jurisdiction of courts and enforcement of summons. Right here. We didn't make this up. This is what they said. Okay, and we brought this up in our special edition where it talks about opening a foreign estate. So if the District of Columbia, this particular title right here is human trafficking. You can't do this because there's no evidence that you're a citizen of the United States. There's no oath or affirmation. There's no nationality certificate that's issued. Nothing. So these guys just do things willy-nilly and off the cuff. Whatever suits them, that's what they do. That's why we said, go ahead.
They like implied contracts.
Yeah, implied. Well, that's what I said. That's what I meant. You know, that kind of thing, which is basically implied. Okay, so all you guys that are doing your, what do you call it? The executrix of your estates. Guess what you just did? You just opened up your account and said it was okay for the company to come and foreclose on you. That's why we say a lot of these processes are fraud. Changing your name on a deed and all this is fraud. There's a lot of things these processes are put together by people that haven't done it themselves. They make this crap up, and they put people in bigger trouble.
Yep, and not only that, but we've established that there's a campaign of disinformation and propaganda that corporate puts out. So a lot of these ideas come from them to walk people into traps.
Exactly. Absolutely, they do, to get them back in. Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to get out. Very easy to get in. So, you know, that's the way. That's the genius of their system.
Mm-hmm. And so, I'm going to change the subject just a little bit. There's a 40-page thing here of it's against foreign law. Okay. Now, a lot of people were very upset when they knew, everybody knew in their gut, they knew this. Justice Scalia was killed. Everyone knew that. It wasn't a natural death. The man had a pillow put over his head. They suffocated him. They even left the pillow there. They didn't care. Who was behind that? That's the whole thing. Now, here's a case where it talks about it is against foreign law. Okay, and it talks about Justice Scalia and the fact that he didn't like the fact that foreign law from the European Union are deciding cases based on that foreign law. He was a nationalist, believe it or not. He spoke out quite a bit on that. And the people that were behind that were the ones that were trying to put in their New World Order. And those people are under this particular constitution, of which your governors, and a lot of your governors are under this, and some of the presidents are under this. I have not found any evidence that Trump is under this or going along with this at all.
And just as a reminder, we've covered this in previous shows, but with the screen share, the word Constitution leaps out at me. So when you hear a politician say, "Well, under our Constitution, we've got to," you don't know which Constitution they're actually referring to.
Right? Is that
everybody assumes it's the U.S. Constitution, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's implied.
That's right. Okay, and if you don't believe me, okay, so we'll do another share screen here. If you don't believe me, this is the beliefs of the number is 113. The people have been appointed to confirmed as justices of the Supreme Court: John Roberts, Roman Catholic; associate justices, Irish Catholic, Catholic. Couple of Hebrews in here. There's 1, 2, and 3. And Neil Gorsuch, Roman Catholic, Catholic. They're all Catholic. Don't know who Sonia is or what she's doing. Don't know if she's Hebrew or Catholic. But the number is 113, who have been appointed and confirmed as justices of the Supreme Court. All of them Catholic. Most of them Catholic. Some Hebrew. These are the people that are making decisions. Now, if they're Catholic or Roman Catholic, they're subject to the Roman Catholic government, a foreign government. People don't understand that. You convert to that religion, it's a foreign country that you're converting to. People don't. You got to be very careful, folks, about what you do and how you do it. Because Roman Catholic religion is not separate. That's a military religion. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Just to let you know, Keith, Sonia Sotomayor is Roman Catholic. Ta-da!
Oh, you found it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have a lot of those that information. This was spoken about a long time ago. If I can find it, it just came to me to say something about it, because there were a lot of quotes we put in the newspaper. I actually no. I put it on Bitrix. Remember that? It was talking about the Roman Catholics and who they are. They are no different. A Roman Catholic is no different than Islam. They're both military. Both of them have the same beliefs. They both started under the same Serapis Christos. So you have to be very careful, because you're thinking, well, it's Christian, it's no big deal. You're thinking it's Christian, and Jesus is loving and caring, and I want to be that. I want to be a part of that. Or you're to a point where you don't care about any of it, Okay, and here's some of the quotes here that I found, or I didn't find this. This was sent to me because there's a lot of people that really want to see a lot of this information out on the T. Rose Show. They have, it was Holy Alliance having destroyed popular government in Spain and in Italy, and well-laid plans also to destroy popular government in the American colonies, which had revolted from Spain and Portugal and Central and South America under the influence of the successful example of the United States. Actually, it was the United States of America that did all that. They just took credit for it. It was because of this conspiracy against the American republics by the European monarchs that the great English statesman Canning called the attention to our government to it. They were the sovereigns of the Holy Alliance. Here it says amassed large armies and soon entered into the pledge to devote them to the suppression of all uprisings of the people in favor of free government. And he, Pope Pius the VII, desired to devote the Jesuits, supported by his pontifical power, to the accomplishment of that end. He knew how faithfully they would apply themselves to that work, and hence he counseled them in his decree of restoration to strictly observe the useful advices and salutary counsels whereby Loyola had made absolution the cornerstone of society. And this was written by R.V. Thomas in 1894. In 1815, it says Thompson pinpointed exactly who would be the agents used by the monarchs of Europe to destroy the Republic of America, namely the Jesuits of Rome. Since 1815, there has been a continual assault on America by the Jesuits to try to destroy constitutional rights of this great nation. This was, this is they were pushing their constitution, but not realizing, folks, that since 1928, or 1929, this same power has been in contract with your Constitution. That's the whole thing. So it always was under their control. So they have you fighting. This is how you get your enemy to do what you want them to do. You create something, make it believe it is theirs, and have them fight for it, thereby they're fighting for you. You're the opposition. Okay? So you create two characters. One's a bad guy, one's a good guy. You hand the good guy over to the other guy that you want fighting for the bad guy. You take on the character of the bad guy. You're the bad guy. The other guy is going to fight for the good guy, and the good guy is both your creation. But the bad guy and the good guy, you created both of them. That's how you get them to fight for you. So the Constitution was created by the same guy that created the bad guy that was coming after it. You'll see what I'm saying?
Sure do.
And
you see minor stage plays of that basically every day with their Congress. You know, Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, liberals, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, and the means is they want you to convert to Catholicism under Serapis Christus, so you pay the tithing. They want money. That's all this is all about. This is money. It has nothing to do with spiritualism or anything of that nature. So this is quite a long thing. There was he talked about the part of the Jesuit oath, and this was a letter of John Adams to the President Thomas Jefferson about the Jesuits. We read, "Shall we not have regular swarms of them here, and in many disguises as only a king of the gypsies can assume, dressed as painters, publishers, writers, and schoolmasters?" It says, if ever there was a body of men who merited eternal damnation on earth and in hell, it is the society of the Loyolas, the Jesuits. They knew about this a long time ago, and all this history has been removed because most of the people today don't even remember 9/11. They weren't alive at that time, or they were just being born, or they were 5 years old. That's, by the way, they thought they could get Hillary in because they thought enough people forgot about all the Clinton crimes back in the 90s. Well, they figured out that was wrong. And by the way, folks, I don't think anybody really cares about having a woman president of the company over there. It's as long as it isn't her. Any woman besides her. It doesn't matter who it is. Any other woman on earth besides that woman. There was some other stuff. In 1825, some 11 years after the revival of the Jesuit order, a secret meeting of leading Jesuits was held at their college in northern Italy. At that gathering, plans were discussed for the advancement of papal power worldwide, for the destabilization of governments who stood in the way for and for crushing of all opposition to Jesuit schemes and ambitions. It says, what we aim at is the empire of the world. And that's what they're doing right now. It's the same thing, folks. It is like a perpetual movie, the same movie over and over again. They do the same thing. Your children will live through this crap. Their children will live through it. The same thing. They keep trying it over and over again. We want world power and run the world. Nobody's going to follow that. And the reason is because all of their laws violate basic rights. If they came in, as here, we're gonna bring out, why not take the position of justice? Why not take the position of liberation? Why not do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't make any sense to me. It's
well, I don't think they can't, because they've got thousands of years of deception and cheating. It wouldn't be allowed. If they tried to come clean, they'd probably get thrown off bridges. And if it wasn't that extreme, they would they'd be relegated to the garbage bin. So they probably, I'm just speculating, but they probably feel that they can't come clean because there's just so much water under the bridge at this point.
Yeah, it talks about the Monroe Doctrine here too. And logic dictates that the thinking of these people is flawed. Flawed meaning does not make any sense. There's nothing that makes any sense about anything they do. And I think it's their industry. If you really think about it, their industry is they sell God, right?
Yep.
Okay, and they sell the concept of Serapis Christus.
The Jesus brand.
Yeah, that's their main industry. So they basically sit around, okay, and sell him. That's it. They make money off of it. They make money everywhere they go. And that is a very hard industry to uphold. I mean, why don't you just make toothbrushes or something, Because they obviously need them over there. I'm sorry, it's true. Every time I see Francis, his yellow teeth just kill me. He does doing some serious smoking, bro. But why don't they produce something and start selling products? Their whole country is based on selling God. And that's all they do. They go around and they do ceremonies and rituals and stuff, and that's it. And then they hide the rest of it. The Knights of Columbus, it's an insurance company. I went and looked them up the other day. They're an insurance company. That's all it is. They sell security for the people. So you have the FOP involved with them. They're all over the place. And they're the ones bringing in the Muslims. The military, most of the generals are Jesuits. They're all involved in this, and the whole. I'm pretty sure. Be honest with you. I mean, I think those are pretty intelligent men. I bet you deep down, neither one of them care about any of this stuff. I think they're just playing the game. It's a game that's going on. They're playing it, and that's it. They're going along with it because they benefit from it. I don't really even think they believe it. Any of the crap that's spewed over there. And within the United States of America, getting back to the Declaration of Independence, there is notice from the T. Rose Show, by the way, that no, you are not the beneficiaries of any American national, resident, or general postmaster. You have no legal connection here. If you want to do reciprocity, we're going to question everything you're doing. And because I know how you, I mean, everybody knows how these guys are sneaky. They're passive aggressive. And you have to work through that passive aggressiveness in order for them to come clean. And that takes about 2 weeks of arguing back and forth until they finally come clean and say, yeah, this is the truth and this is what's going on. It takes a while to get to that truth because they're so indoctrinated, in everything they do.
Yeah, it's denial at first.
That's right. So, no, we're not connected to the Vatican or the Empire in any way. That is also shown in the oath and affirmation. In order to make it clearer, we can declare exile from them. Okay, so they can't come back and say there's connections or anything of that nature. This is going to be, if you want your national currency, folks, you want a national currency, which is the only one in existence right now is the continental dollar. It's going to take you to do it. This is up to you because those saviors have pretty much abandoned you. Not they're saving you, they're saving themselves. Now, if Justice Scalia can be touched and John F. Kennedy can be touched by these people, then so can Trump. I don't know. I know Trump didn't bow to the Saudi king. Good idea. However, he did create a contract of $325 billion to supply that same country with weapons that will be used to kill U.S. soldiers and their families and the rest of the Americans. Not good. Okay, not good thing. But I see the way he is. He's either a very good actor or he's really just a genuine guy trying to do the right thing. And if you'll notice, the establishment, they call it the establishment, which is nothing more than the Jesuits and the Catholic Church and the Dutch going along with them. Everybody else just kind of going along with the scheme. Anybody who advocates for the people, the general people, usually gets ousted or killed. That tells you something right there. Everybody knows that now. Oh, they're going to kill Trump. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They had a play the other day where they all stabbed him like he was Caesar. And then you had the bloody head. And then you had, what was it? That other guy shooting him in the head in a video. Can't remember the guy's name. This kind of thing going on.
That's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Trying to start a civil war. That's what they're trying to do. So this makes me wonder, right? Whether Trump is the good guy they created and the Civil War is exactly what they want because they want to bring in the whole Catholic thing and the Muslim thing in the country. So if you're fighting for Trump, you're actually fighting for the bad guy. That's just speculation. But it makes sense to me. I don't know about anybody else. If that's what they're actually doing. That's why we're not coming out and saying anything. We're basically remaining kind of neutral in this whole thing. And the last thing we have to do is get the continental dollar in circulation, which we do have, by the way. But we have to get it to where people are start accepting it, and that takes awakening, because 99.9 of the people that think that that the government of the United States of America is evil, or it's this or that or anything else, they come over, they realize it's real. They go, holy crap, yeah, you guys are, yeah, this is real. We're not kidding. So every one of them, a lot of them come over violent, you know, yelling at us and everything else. And some others, I mean, that happens a lot. You guys are a fraud and everything else. About 2 weeks later, you know, 3 weeks later, oh, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to join this thing.
Well, yeah, like 3 weeks later, they're actually witnessing the effect that this government really has and the results that it gets.
Absolutely. So just keep in mind, folks, that okay, the Catholic people, the people that join the Catholic Church, we have absolutely nothing against you guys. You guys are fairly cool. Love your fish. Great fish, by the way. Best fish in the world. I don't know what they cook it with, but man, it's awesome. Very good people. They mean well and do well for others. Don't have any issues with them. It's this manipulative crap that's going on. I knew that the Vatican City was done when they put a Jesuit in charge. I go, oh, that was it. They got Jesuit in charge. The thing's going down, and he's going to tear that thing, that organization, to pieces. And believe it or not, Benedict couldn't get any of the what do you call it, the corruption out of there. That's why he stepped aside. He's still there, still alive. He couldn't get rid of any of the corruption, so they had to get rid of him. They put Francis in there. They tried to make him out like he was some kind of pauper. Oh, he was just in an apartment by himself, and he went to an apartment to get. They made a big deal of him going to an apartment and get his suitcase. Like
it's the whole production.
It was a whole production. Like he was all some kind of he was all humble and just one of the people guys, you know, that kind of thing. And no, that wasn't it at all. You knew the guy's past. You'd probably have him see him in jail. I think he's got a bunch of warrants out for him in South America. But anyways, the reason why I'm saying this is the government of the United States of America declared independence for a reason. And that reason was to preserve the liberty, freedom, common sense, sense of fair play, friendship, rights, civil rights, human rights, everything, to preserve that for this country until the country came out of its stupor and its deception. We would like to start assemblies in states so those states can be reborn back to their original state, and you can have your peace and tranquility. I don't know personally the steps that we'll take to get there. A lot of people are extremely angry, very upset, wanting revolution. You're being manipulated towards it. Now let's go back to that perception, and I'll have to, I'll stop here in just a few. Back to that perception of one guy creating a good guy and a bad guy. Now, what if Illuminati was created by the very same people? They're supposed to be the bad guy? You follow what I'm saying? So you're going to fight against that bad guy, but what if they were created by the very same people that are trying to get you to fight for them? The real bad guy. I don't know.
It's a good way of inciting.
Excellent way of inciting violence.
Yep.
But with the government of the United States of America has some solutions coming. They should be announced here in very short order to resolve a lot of these issues. The issues are going to be exposing a lot of the problems that are in the country and bringing forth solutions to those problems. One of the number one rules is you can't object to anything within this government unless you have a solution to it. And that way the government constantly moves forward and it constantly moves in a positive direction. So That's it. Anybody else have anything before we go?
No, I'm good. Very informative.
Yep, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you for listening to the T Rose Show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you learned something. We do enjoy and are glad of all the subscribers. We do get plenty of them every day. It just keeps rising and raising, and we really love that and enjoy that and appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions of a T Rose show, let us know. We'll take a look into it, and we'll show you some of the history of it or whatever it is. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.